There is a feeling that sits at the base of your throat, a quiet, permanent pressure you've carried since before you had the words to name it. It is the feeling of being wrong by simply existing. You noticed it early, not in words, but in the air of the house. You noticed how the atmosphere changed when you walked in, how the laughter would thin, or how a parent's gaze would sharpen into a critique before you had even uttered a single word. You were the child who learned to read the weather of the household by the sound of a footstep or the clink of a coffee cup. You became a master of the micro-shift. You sat at dinner tables feeling like a guest in your own life, watching as the rest of the family shared a warmth that seemed to hit an invisible wall whenever it reached you. And because a child cannot survive the truth that their protectors are flawed, you made a silent, a devastating deal with your own psyche. You decided that you were the problem. You accepted the role of the black sheep because in the logic of a child, being a bad person in a safe world is less terrifying than being a good person in a world run by people who cannot love you. But as Carl Jung famously suggested, the family is a psychological system, and systems require a place to put their shadows. This is the architecture of the scapegoat. You were chosen not because of your weaknesses, but because of your strength. In family systems theory, there is a concept known as projective identification. To understand your role, you must stop looking at your parents as individuals and start looking at the family as a homeostatic machine. Every family has a shadow, a collection of repressed shames, unhealed traumas, and failures that the parents refuse to look at. If the parents acknowledge their own darkness, the family structure would collapse. To prevent this, the system unconsciously selects one member to become the vessel for all that unwanted energy. Why was it you? Usually, the scapegoat is the child with the highest surplus of empathy or the most perceptive vision. You were the one who could see the elephant in the room. You were the one whose very eyes asked the questions no one was allowed to ask. In the eyes of a dysfunctional system, your truth is a threat. By labeling you as the difficult one, the sensitive one, or the failure, the family creates a distraction. As long as they are busy fixing you or complaining about you, they never have to face themselves. You didn't become the scapegoat because you were broken. You were drafted into the role to keep everyone else from breaking. You became the pressure valve for the family's unaddressed grief. Growing up in this role forces your nervous system to undergo a radical, desperate recalibration. While your siblings may have had the luxury of a standard childhood, you were enrolled in an invisible curriculum. You learned the psychology of the braced. Your brain's amygdala, the smoke detector of the mind, became oversized and hypersensitive. You didn't just hear a door close, you heard the intent behind the closing. Psychologists refer to this as hyperattunement. You learned to read silence like a language. You sensed the emotional ripples in a conversation before the conflict even arrived. This is why, as an adult, you are often exhausted in social settings. You aren't just talking, you are unconsciously scanning for the moment the weather will turn against you. This leads to what we call emotional overcompensation. Because you were blamed for things that weren't your fault, you became the person who apologizes for everything. You became the fixer, the healer, or the perfectionist. You carry a shadow grief, the grief of losing the version of yourself that could have been carefree, the version that didn't have to be a bodyguard for their own soul at age 7. The most brutal part of being the scapegoat is the internalization of the label. You spend your life trying to prove the family wrong, yet you find yourself unconsciously seeking out partners and friends who treat you with the same casual contempt. This is the echo of the original wound. Your mind has memorized the pattern that love equals being used. You wear the mask of capability. To the world, you are often the most successful member of the family. You are the one who moved away, the one who built a career, the one who has it all together. But internally, and there is a duality. You are a renovated building sitting on ruined architecture. Behind your strength hides a quiet exhaustion. The exhaustion of someone who has been the strong one for too long. You become familiar with emotional contradictions. You are open yet guarded. You are caring yet detached. You crave connection, yet the moment someone gets too close, your nervous system braces for impact. You are waiting for the shift, The moment they realize you are wrong and cast you out, just like the original tribe did. You are a master of self-reliance, but it is a self-reliance born of necessity, not choice. So how do you put down a burden that was placed on your shoulders before you could even walk? The path to freedom for the scapegoat is not a journey toward perfection. It is a journey toward truth. You must realize that the version of you that exists in your family's mind is a fiction. It is a character they wrote to play the villain in their story so they could keep playing the victims in theirs. To exit this system, you don't need their permission. You need your own sovereignty. This requires a process of psychological exorcism, removing their voices from your head and replacing them with your own. Number 1, the anatomy of the guilt trap. The moment you start setting boundaries, the moment you say no to the holiday dinner that drains you or no to the phone call that belittles you, you will feel a crushing sense of guilt. Most people mistake this guilt for a sign that they are doing something wrong. In reality, this is systemic guilt. It is the sound of the old family machine trying to pull you back into your slot. When you feel that guilt, do not run from it. Do not apologize. Imagine it as a physical object in your chest. Notice that it cannot actually hurt you. Every time you endure that guilt without folding, you are literally rewiring your brain. You are telling your nervous system, I am safe even when they are unhappy with me. 2, the gift of being misunderstood. As a child, you were desperate to be understood. You thought if you just explained your side clearly enough, they would finally see you. You must now accept a brutal truth. They are committed to misunderstanding you, because if they understood you, they would have to face the pain they caused. Your freedom begins when you stop trying to win the argument. In a scapegoat system, your silence is your most powerful weapon. It is the only way to starve the machine of the drama it needs to survive. Stop being the identified patient and start being the silent observer. 3, grieving the gentler life. You cannot heal what you refuse to mourn. You must allow yourself to be angry that you had to grow up so quickly. You must mourn the child who never got to be messy or loud or selfish without being punished for it. This is the invisible grief. It is the sadness of realizing that you were a bodyguard for your parents' emotions when they should have been the guardians of yours. Acknowledge the weight. Cry for the version of yourself that didn't have to be strong. This grief is the cleansing of the wound. 4, rebuilding the internal architecture. Your self-concept is currently built on survival autopilot. You see yourself as too much, too sensitive, or broken. You must now perform a cognitive reframe. Start replacing their labels with your truth. You aren't difficult, you are discerning. You aren't sensitive, you are perceptive. You aren't the problem, you are the witness. You are not a black sheep, you are a cycle breaker. You are the one with enough strength to carry the darkness until you reach the exit, and then had the courage to leave it there. There is something profoundly beautiful about the psychology of the scapegoat. Because you were cast out of the circle of illusion, you were forced to find the circle of truth. You are the only one in the family who truly knows themselves, because you were the only one who had to survive yourself. You are the lighthouse of the bloodline. You are the one who breaks the cycle. You are the one who turns the struggle into insight and the pain into compassion. You didn't just go through the fire, you were forged by it. And that fire has given you a quiet power that those who stayed in the comfort of the herd will never understand. You are not the black sheep, you are the sovereign. And it's time you realize that the world you've been looking for is the one you've already built inside yourself. If you've spent your life being the one who carries the weight no one else acknowledges, I want you to take a deep breath and realize something. The burden was never yours to carry. You were just the only one strong enough to hold it while the system looked for a place to hide. You are not the black sheep because you are flawed. You are the cycle breaker because you are the only one who refused to look away from the truth. If this exploration of the scapegoat's journey gave you a name for a feeling you've carried since childhood, then you are exactly where you are meant to be. By joining this community, you are signaling to your own psyche that you are done living by someone else's script. You are reclaiming your sovereignty, one realization at a time. If you feel ready to put down that invisible weight, I invite you to join the conversation below. comment with the phrase, "I am reclaiming my story." When you type those words, you aren't just commenting on a video. You are making a public declaration to yourself. You are telling the child within you that the exile is over and the healing has begun. Thank you for trusting me with your time today. It is the most sacred thing you own. Go gently into the rest of your day. Remember, you didn't just survive the storm, you became the lighthouse. And that light is your quiet power.